Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really fascinating and honestly incredibly important topic. We're going to look at how completely normal everyday habits, things you and I probably do without even a second thought, might actually be unintentionally hurting our feline best friends. It's kind of a heavy question, right? Have you ever stopped to wonder if the things you do out of pure love or just, normal day-to-day household management are actually causing your cat chronic stress? Because most of these habits, they feel totally harmless to us. But to the little predator sharing your living room, they can slowly chip away at their health and their overall sense of safety. Now, before we get into it, we have to acknowledge something right off the bat. These mistakes absolutely come from a place of love. You aren't trying to hurt them. Everything you're doing makes perfect sense from a human perspective. But today, it is time to look at the science and actually shift our empathy over to the feline perspective.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. The feline communication gap, and specifically, misunderstanding yells and petting.
Think about this. You catch your cat knocking a water glass off the kitchen counter. Naturally, you yell their name. From our human perspective, we think we're correcting their behavior, teaching them a lesson. But here's the thing. Cats simply don't process cause and effect the way we do. Their brains actually register your raised volume and harsh tone as unpredictable, terrifying danger. And the science backs this up perfectly. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that yelling doesn't teach a cat anything constructive. Zero. It just leads to significantly higher levels of chronic stress. Over time, it literally creates behavioral problems, hiding, aggression, and even avoiding the litter box. They just learn that you are an unsafe presence.
And this communication gap goes way beyond just our voices. It extends right into physical touch. This actually explains a mystery pretty much every cat owner has faced at some point. You're petting your cat, they're purring, and then bam, they bite you out of nowhere. What gives? Well, it's called petting-induced overstimulation. Unlike dogs, a cat's skin is loaded with highly sensitive nerve endings that can go from feeling absolutely amazing to completely, painfully overwhelmed in a matter of seconds.
So, where should you pet them? According to a really fascinating study from the University of Lincoln, you want to stick to the safe zones, the cheeks, the base of the ears, and under the chin. And here is the ultimate trap. When a cat rolls over and exposes their fuzzy belly to you, it is a profound sign of trust. It is not an invitation for a belly rub. If you go in and rub that belly or the base of their tail, you're accidentally betraying that trust and instantly spiking their stress hormones.
Moving right along to Section 2, Starving the Indoor Predator and the Hidden Cost of a Lazy Life.
Okay, we really have to remember that our fluffy little couch potatoes are actually hardwired predators. Hunting isn't just a fun game for them. Their entire brain chemistry depends on an exact 6-step hunting cycle to stay mentally healthy. They need to stalk, chase, pounce, catch, kill, and eat. The huge problem is that most indoor cats go days or literally weeks without a single real hunting experience.
So what happens when we skip this? Well, without activating this hunting sequence, cats aren't just being lazy, they're actually mentally starving. According to data from the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, this deprivation leads to serious physical and behavioral breakdowns. We're talking obesity, aggression, and real depression-like symptoms. But introduce play and it is a total game changer. You get a transformed mood, vibrant energy, and a much deeper connection with your cat. And the incredibly good news here, it doesn't take much, just 10 to 15 minutes. That is literally all the daily interactive play it takes using a wand toy, something that mimics real prey, to completely transform your cat's well-being and wake up that predator inside them.
Next up, Section 3, the dry food danger and chronic dehydration. Let's talk about this silent danger sitting right there in your cat's everyday food bowl.
Did you know cats are descendants of desert animals? Because of that, their ancestors evolved to get almost all of their water directly from the prey they ate, meaning their natural thirst drive is incredibly low. So think about your standard dry kibble. It's about 90% dry matter and only 10% moisture. When you feed them a diet of purely dry food, you are keeping them in a dangerous state of chronic, low-level dehydration.
And this chronic dehydration, it severely stresses their kidneys and their urinary tract. A study from the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association proved that even if you leave a big bowl of fresh water out, they just won't drink enough to make up that deficit. This leads directly to kidney disease, which tragically is the #1 cause of death in older cats.
Fortunately, the fix is super simple. And no, you don't have to throw out all the kibble entirely. Just mixing in some wet food a few times a week is a massive, highly actionable step. Just that slight,
Easy change gives their kidneys a real fighting chance and dramatically protects their long-term health.
Let's move to Section 4, Environmental Stress and Anxiety, specifically focusing on the bathroom problem.
I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Where is your cat's litter box right now? Is their bathroom tucked away in some dark, unfinished basement? Or maybe crammed in a closet behind a loud, vibrating washing machine?
We usually hide the litter box because, let's face it, we humans don't want to see it or smell it. But by doing that, you've probably put it in the scariest spot in the entire house. From a cat's perspective, remember, they are both predator and prey. When they use the bathroom, they are in their absolute most vulnerable position. A dark, hidden corner with only one exit, that goes against every survival instinct they have. They need to be able to see what's coming so they can escape. The really good news here is that behaviorists stress that elimination problems, like being on a living room rug, are almost always location problems, not bad behavior. They aren't mad at you, they're just scared. You can fix this easily with the N+1 rule. Simple math here. 1 box per cat plus 1 extra placed in different open areas of the house to reduce that territorial tension.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, the independence myth and the pain of isolation. This is perhaps the most damaging habit of all, and it's rooted in a massive lie spread by modern pet culture.
There is this huge clash between what society tells us and what actual science proves. The myth says that cats are totally independent, aloof, self-sufficient, and couldn't care less if you walk through the door. But a 2020 study published in Current Biology absolutely destroys this idea. It proves that cats form deep, genuine attachment bonds with their owners. It's actually very much like the secure bonds human infants form with their caregivers. They deeply, deeply feel your absence.
When they're left isolated for 10 to 12 hours a day while you're at work, cats suffer, but they suffer in absolute silence. They don't bark at the door all day, they don't chew up your favorite shoes, they withdraw. And because they are so quiet about it, they develop anxiety and depression that we tragically misinterpret as them just being fine or low maintenance. The silence is literally tricking us.
Now, you absolutely don't need to be home 24/7, but implementing small enrichment strategies is vital. Leave some food puzzles out before you leave for the day, rotate their toys so they don't get bored, set up a cozy window perch so they can watch the birds outside, and most importantly, give them just 5 minutes of real, focused connection the moment you walk back through the door. Drop your bags, get down on their level, and don't just walk past them. As we wrap up this explainer today, I want you to go look at your cat and ask yourself, are you truly speaking their language? Are you meeting their biological and emotional needs, or are you just reacting based on human logic? The science gives us this amazing, clear window into their world, and the power to make them feel truly safe, healthy, and understood is entirely in your hands. So tell me, what small step are you going to take for your best friend?